You know, I absolutely hate Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons sucks. I have nothing good to say about them because I can't think of anything good that Tim Hortons does for the community. Yeah, their coffee tastes okay, but then again, McDonald's also makes good coffee. And as a matter of fact, everyone can make a much cheaper and probably better tasting cup of coffee at home than Tim Hortons makes. What pisses me off about Tim Hortons is how greedy they are. They're so freaking greedy. They're a very stingy chain. Like their donuts and their various goods that they sell, the portions have gotten smaller and smaller over the years. Like their donuts and all that, and their various pastries. Their prices keep going up and up. And I mean, I've heard so many horror stories, so many bad things about how badly they treat their staff that works there. Some of the staff I've encountered at Tim Hortons are quite rude and unprofessional as well too. And some of the staff I've encountered at Tim Hortons are real idiots. You know, they can't get a simple order right. I mean, there are some people working at Tim Hortons that seem to love screwing up orders. They're just idiots. And just everything about it is so stingy. Like even the size of their drive-through. I remember at a previous job I used to work at, I used to run to the drive-through on behalf of my workplace, and I would take my boss's Ford F-150 pickup truck, and I had to maneuver it through there so carefully as to not hit anything, because their drive-through was built so tight. And now the other thing that's been pissing me off about Tim Hortons over the last few months, since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, is that, even though state of emergency was declared here in Ontario and only essential services were allowed to remain open, essential services basically included all restaurants. The only restrictions that were put on restaurants, including Tim Hortons, was that the dining room was off limits, so you couldn't sit down in the dining room and eat or drink whatever you purchased from Tim Hortons. However, their drive-throughs and their takeout counters were allowed to remain open, and their bathrooms were allowed to remain open too. But Tim Hortons, being the cheap, stingy fucks that they are, they decided to shut down their bathrooms, shut down the takeout counters for their restaurants, like basically lock the door of their restaurants, making it that the only way to purchase anything from them was through their drive-through. And I remember seeing at least one Tim Hortons drive-through, they had up a sign saying only motorized vehicles through the drive-through. So in other words, if you didn't have a car or some kind of motorized vehicle, you were not able to purchase anything from Tim Hortons. I mean, that's discrimination against people that don't have cars. And being that Tim Hortons more than likely pays the majority of their staff minimum wage, they should understand that I'm sure that many of the people working at Tim Hortons don't have their own car either, or don't even have access to a car because of how stingy their pay is. But yet they discriminate against people that don't have a car by refusing to serve anyone that doesn't come through there in a motorized vehicle. There was no law requiring them to lock the doors of their restaurant and close their takeout counters, and there was no laws requiring them to lock up their public washrooms either. But they chose to do that, and not only did they choose to do that, but here in Ontario, Canada, we're in stage 3 of our COVID-19 reopening. You know, the most advanced stage of the COVID-19 reopening. And pretty much almost everything is open except for places like nightclubs and amusement parks. And Tim Hortons, they've reopened. Like I could think of one Tim Hortons location in particular, the Tim Hortons at Commissioners in Deveron. In other words, the Tim Hortons on Commissioners just west of Highbury in London, Ontario, Canada. That particular Tim Hortons, they've reopened their takeout counter, but yet they still have their fucking washrooms closed. Like, you stingy, lazy fucks. You know, why don't you just have your staff, maybe have one more staff member working, or have your staff work a little bit longer each day so that they can clean the washrooms and reopen the washrooms to the general public. But no, they'd rather, save themselves a few bucks by not bothering to clean their public washrooms. Like, Tim Hortons, to me, is just a chain that just takes, and gives absolutely nothing back to the community. Like, so what? They talk about how they have their camps, and they have their camp day. One stupid day of the year out of 365 days of the year, a portion of their sales will go towards their camp day, the Tim Hortons camps. Like, big fucking deal. You stingy fucks. You have lost my business. I'm guessing you probably lost the business of many other Canadians as well, too. Because I've heard and read various things that indicate that Tim Hortons might be struggling. All I can say is good. I won't miss, if some of you go out of business, I won't miss you at all. And I'm sure there's other customers that won't miss you either. Bottom line, Tim Hortons sucks. Or as I prefer to refer to them as, I prefer to call them Tim Horribles, because they really are a horrible chain.